Hello and welcome to this edition of EMS Now Up Close. I am Eric Miskell with EMS Now. And as many of you know, I had the pleasure of touring the EMS industry in Europe in June of this year. Dieter Weiss of Informa and I visited with 19 different EMS companies in 6 countries across Europe. One of those companies was SG Automotive in Slovenia. And so as a follow-up to that, today it's my pleasure to be able to speak with Klaus Schuster, who's the CEO of SG Automotive, which is a small-size EMS in Slovenia, to get a little more about SG and learn about what's happening there. So Klaus, it's a pleasure to see you again. Thank you very much for taking the time and agreeing to this.
Eric, thank you very, very much for the invitation. Also from my side, it's nice meeting you again after you visited us here in Slovenia, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, and you won the best tour because you met us and took us to the Adriatic coast. So you were the winner of that. So
yeah, it was really perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, you have an interesting background. So what I'd like to do is maybe start by allowing you to kind of introduce yourself and your background, because it is not from the EMS industry. You came into this. So I'd like to kind of explore that before we get into that. So tell us about your background, please.
Yeah, it is true. I'm not part of this EMS family. So I've been a banker before. And after that, I started to deal with turnaround management, restructuring companies. And it was in 2017 when I got the first time in touch with automotive industry. So I was in charge of the privatization of a company here in Slovenia. And since this went quite well, I got the offer to restructure SG Automotive in 2000. So I stepped in 2018. Yeah, and this was then the first time when I got in touch with EMS. And to be honest, I like it.
Yeah. It's an interesting industry. And I always like to talk to people who come from outside of the industry because it brings a fresh set of eyes, right? And a new perspective that probably helps move things forward. So, well, let's talk about SG Automotive a bit. SG is over a 25-year-old company. Tell us about SG Automotive and the story, please.
Yeah, as you said, 25-year-old company. We have been part of, so most of the Europeans know the Schaeffenacker group. So this was a German group, and SG Automotive was part of this group. Schaeffenacker went bankrupt, and a Slovenian entrepreneur who took over the shares from Schaeffenacker of SG Automotive and started to develop this business. And this business went very, very well. So in the best years, SG Automotive did some 60 million turnover, so 60, having 500 employees just on this location employed. Was one of the first who introduced LED technology in vehicle lamps. So was really a great story. Yeah.
And then at what point did they kind of shift into the EMS piece?
I think they shifted in the EMS. This was around 2008, 2010, something like this. Yeah.
Okay.
So first they started with cables and wire harnesses, and after that they started with the assembly of PCBs. So this was the beginning, and later on also small lamps, but especially for the automotive industry. And yeah, was really a great deal.
Yeah, and I know that the history is certainly within the automotive industry, and a lot of the customer base today, is the majority is there, even though you're diversifying into other sectors. But actually, before I get into that, let me ask you: when you joined and you took on this challenge, kind of what was your vision for SG? What were you hoping to accomplish? What was it that you were looking to do?
Okay, there were two visions because
Yeah.
when I joined the company end of 2018, my job was to restructure the company. So to do the financial restructuring, and there my vision was just to go through this restructuring in a smooth way, not to lose any customers, and this is what we succeeded. So we finished this financial restructuring by the end of 2021. At the beginning of 2022, I then took over also the management of the company. And then, of course, my vision changed because we got rid of all these big issues and also the not very pleasant issues. And then we had to focus, and we started to focus on growing. Because you know, when a company comes from, as I said before, from 60 million turnover to 20 million, so on one hand side you can say oof, but on the other side you can say there is a huge potential, and this is exactly what happens in our case. So my vision today is just to grow. I use the slogan from the former president of the United States, so make SG Automotive great again. And that's the idea. So to grow within the next 2 years to some, let's say, 30 million, and this is also proven.
Okay. Good. Well, let's talk about the company itself and the capabilities. You know, Dieter and I had the benefit of meeting and touring the facility that you're in, and we saw you know, my lingering impression was that just the large scope of equipment that was there and the capabilities that you had within that building and within the company. So maybe introduce that, talk about the scope and capabilities of SG Automotive.
Yeah, as I said before, in previous times, we had really projects with huge quantities. So imagine 60 million turnover. So these were 3-4 high-running projects, as we call them. Today, it's totally different. Today, we have in our portfolio approximately 300 different articles. We ship every month approximately 50 different articles to our customers all around the world. And so this totally changed. But, and this is also the good side, we understood how to deal also with smaller projects. I know that most of our guys don't want to hear this when I'm saying, okay, it was fine in the old years. I'm exaggerating. When saying, okay, it was fine for you guys. You came in the morning, switched on the machine, went home in the evening, switched off the machine. But today it's different. But this is also a huge advantage because dealing with smaller sizes or smaller quantities, this gives you a lot of flexibility on one hand side. On the other hand side, there are different margins. So for smaller or mid-sized projects, the customers are not that price sensitive than with these large-scale projects. Of course, you always want to have both, which is clear.
And that's what I mean. I mean, automotive usually has the benefit of those projects, and you have a very good forecast as to how long those are going to be. And a lot of what you do in that leverages the LED and the lighting component as well, correct? Right. So speak to that, because I also know that you also have your own, it's a smaller piece of it, but the lighting division as well. So
okay, the setup of SG Automotive is approximately 95% of electronics, and 5% is really lighting. So as I said, the previous shareholder owner of SG Automotive, for me, he was a very innovative person. So he had good ideas, and one of the ideas was, I wasn't here at this time, but I think it was some 10-12 years ago, when he and the team invented street lights, office lights, and industry lights. Ah, so you can use all your expertise and your know-how that you gained in automotive uh, uh,
Mhm.
for this new business segment.
Mhm.
So, and okay, it's not our main focus because, of course, you focus on the 95% instead of the 5%, but it's a very nice byproduct, I
Mhm.
would say so. And we are still doing business. We are still having customers also in for that business segment, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that when we were together, we spoke about that. The goal isn't to shrink the automotive, it's to grow some other sectors, right? So, and to pursue that, to use the capabilities that you have to develop in other areas like the industrial consumer, those types of things.
Okay, don't tell this, please, to our automotive customers. No, but the idea is the following. The idea is to diversify into non-automotive. This does not mean that we say no to automotive business, because A, we are not in the position to say no, to be honest, and B, I like to do business.
Yeah.
So that's clear. But just if you have such a strong focus on just one industry segment,
Mhm.
this also causes you a huge risk. And I think this is reasonable and understandable for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No.
now we just signed a contract with a new customer for the first non-automotive project. Yeah, and we are more than happy about
Yeah.
this.
Good, good, good. So, tell me too, I mean, you're in Slovenia. You're the only company we visited that was in Slovenia. What are the benefits and maybe challenges of your location?
Yeah, it is. I like it when you ask an Austrian what is nice about Slovenia.
Yeah.
Because I'm an Austrian, but I live in Slovenia now for more than 20 years, together with my family. In the family, I'm the only foreigner.
Ah.
For those one who do not know, where is Slovenia? Slovenia is on the south part of Europe, so it's southern from Austria. Very small country, but a very nice country. So we have just some 2 million inhabitants here, and we are a member of the European Union, and this is already one of the advantages of Slovenia, because being part of the European Union at the same time still having lower wages than compared to, for instance, Austria, Germany, or Italy. So these countries, this is one thing. The other thing is from Slovenia we can reach our customers easily. So we have our own port in Koper. For instance, we have also customers not just in Europe. We have customers in Mexico. We have a customer in China. But of course, in Europe, it's even easier, and this is what we experienced, for instance, during the pandemic crisis, when we had issues with transport. We can easily reach the German OEMs by car if needed.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was. And moving in and out was very good. I know that several of the major distributors are located in Slovenia as well. So it is a well-served and, like you said, beautiful country. So,
and maybe if sorry to interrupt, but I think this is also a huge advantage in Slovenia, since it's that small. People speak different languages here. So our two daughters, both of them, they speak 4 different languages. Yeah, and the same is here in the company. And you can also see here in the company, we are currently approximately 100 employees and coming from 8 different nationalities. And for us, it's not an issue to speak, for instance, with our customers, not just in German or in English. We have also people who speak Spanish. And this really is a huge advantage and outcome of this, I always say, small country.
Yeah, no, exactly. So you've touched on this a little bit when you talked about kind of the changes and being very good at how you've gone from larger to smaller volumes. But what is it that you think SG Automotive is especially good at?
There are different factors. One is, of course, quality. So we have in average 2 ppm. Because, as I said, our background is automotive, and that's it. Yeah, but this is nothing what we have to point out that much, because if I would be a customer, I would not discuss about quality. This is for me business as usual.
Yeah.
This is one thing. The second thing is we are very transparent to both our customers and our suppliers. So we learned quite a lot during the restructuring of the company. I mentioned before, all of the customers stayed with us. And this means once a month we provided them with all the necessary information, financial figures, risk assessment, and so on. So this is also very important in a supply chain, that also the other players understand what's going on with SG Automotive. Also, we are today a healthy, wealthy company. Everything is fine, yeah. But we still talk about this to our customers and to our suppliers, yeah. Then of course staff. I think we are a little bit different than others. Not just that our customers, they have direct access to all of us. So doesn't matter whether they call me or they call one of our project managers, they immediately receive feedback. We had a case, I think it was 3-4 weeks ago, when a new customer called, asked if he could provide him just with an indicative offer. And he received it within 1 hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he was so surprised. He said, I could not believe. But anyhow, he just asked for an indicative offer, and this was enough for him to do the next decision. Yeah. And so this is also good. And yeah, you mentioned it at the very beginning of our discussion, hospitality. I think we have to treat our business partners in a different way. You know, you could come for a visit. You spend a lot of time traveling from abroad, coming to Slovenia, and we offer you a cup of coffee and a glass of water. One thing. Or the other thing is, we really welcome you in a way that you go back home and that you say, hey, I want to come back to these guys. I really like how they approached me.
Yeah. Good. Those are all good things. And I think I certainly was a recipient of some of those. So thank you for that. You know, one of the big issues within the industry for the last year has certainly been material supply chain challenges, right? And those, you know, seem to be getting better. We hear different stories. What's your experience? How are those challenges currently impacting your business?
Yeah, these challenges we faced as well. So. And we discussed this also. You remember a few weeks ago in Munich at the conference with Dieter Weiss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the question for me is not who is guilty for the situation. Yeah. What is the situation? Last year, I remember in first half of 2022, there was this material shortage, and you remember. Customers were screaming on us, not just on us, also on others, screaming on the phone in escalation calls, shouting on us. So the word idiot was the nicest one I heard. Yeah. Today it's different. Today automotive is slowing down. Yeah. Customers are postponing. For instance, the call-offs, and I don't hear anyone from these customers calling me an idiot. Yeah, So what I want to say is, it is important to communicate, yeah, on one side within the entire supply chain, because it's not just the fault of the distributor or the manufacturer or the customer. Yeah, it's an issue that concerns the entire supply chain. And we recently had such a case, yeah, where at the end of the day, everybody pointed with the finger on us, said, okay, you take the risk and you just take all the material that you ordered. Yeah, yeah, of course. But after talking with the supplier, with the customer, we shared this risk without pointing fingers on A or B or C. Yeah. For that, of course, you need some kind of self-confidence. And also here, I have to say, this changed dramatically during the last few years, at least from my perspective. Because a few years ago, I remember the OEMs, this was, Godfather, somewhere here, yeah. And today, they really talk to you on the same level. Yeah. And what I like, yeah. Because this is how business has to be done. We are partners. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate your perspective very much. I've always told my kids, fix the problem, not the blame, right? If you figure out who's to blame, you still got the problem, right? So yeah,
correct. Fully agreed.
Yeah, fix the problem.
I think we can learn quite a lot also from other industries. Yeah. So I told you I'm coming from banking business, and in banking business, it's quite clear. If you need a loan for, let's say, 1,000 euro on 10 years, and I get a deposit from another one for 1,000 euro, but just for 1 year, I have a huge risk because the depositor tells me after 1 year, okay, pay back my deposit, but I gave you the loan for the next 9 years. Yeah. And here in this business, it's different. You have call loss on the one side. They are canceled from one day to the other, but then you have so-called frozen zones from suppliers, from distributors, and they say you can't cancel anything within the last 90 days. Yeah. So, and I think here we can learn quite a lot from, let's say, banking, but also from other industries, and implement it into the EMS industry.
Yeah. No, and that's why I enjoyed your perspective, because you do come from that background and more of a, dare I say, kind of a turnaround expertise, right? To help kind of some challenge into, companies to do better. So, which is why I like this. So tell me then, what's the next chapter for SG? What do you see?
Yeah, as I said before, the next chapter for SG Automotive is to grow till end of 2025 up to 30 million turnover. That's the idea. And the second thing is to expand into non-automotive. And target number 3 is basically to become a system supplier where our customers will say, okay, we have a problem. Then call the guys from SG Automotive, because they always have an idea how to solve it.
Gotcha. To be seen as the experts and the ones that the go-to people. Exactly.
Yeah. And the one that are flexible enough to help the customer whenever the problem pops up.
Yeah. No, that's very good. That's and like I said, we touched on it a bit, and I should say for the people watching, there will be a profile on SG Automotive. It will be put on EMS Now website. Those are all being loaded up as we speak. So hopefully within the week, you'll be able to see that. And I certainly encourage you to go there and take a look at the company, because you do have some, I was very impressed with the equipment sets, the capabilities when we went through the facilities, and you can just walk through and see the potential for doing so much more and engaging at a deeper level, like you're indicating. So that really stood out in the tour, and so I think you chose a good one to first time in the EMS industry. You chose a good horse to ride, so to speak.
Yeah, I like it very much, and I think you can also feel the way how I talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that comes through. Now, listen, I would be remiss if I didn't take advantage in asking you my last question, which is, you know, when we were together, you gifted me with a book that you had written from a previous career of yours. The book was entitled "The 11 Management Sins That You Should Avoid."
Yes.
I have it here. Oh, I guess with my background, you can't really see it. I wanted to ask you, kind of reflecting on the book and the lessons from that, and it's a very engaging book, by the way. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
Which of those 11 do you find to be the most common?
If I may answer in another way,
Sure.
I would say, which are the ones I did? Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair, yes.
And out of these 11, I did 10, to be honest.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
nevertheless,
Yeah.
also here in SG Automotive, I think it's number 3, hire the wrong people. So this always happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
What is important is whenever you realize that you hired the wrong people, that you have also to find a way how to get rid of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the other thing, I think it's number 4 or 5, do everything by yourself, which is a classic scene.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you know, whenever I go back home to my wife in the evening and complaining that I have too many things to do, and she just says, "Hey, you should read your book." Quite simple.
I will say, having gone through there, 2 of them stood out for me, and of course, as I reflect on the EMS industry and the business that we're engaged in, is how I was looking at it. One was the don't have any fun, right? That a lot of these people become so serious, and they you go your whole year doing that. And I've always lived by, believe that life is important, that it need not be serious, right? That to be able to have that. But I must say that during COVID, I've noticed, certainly within our industry, more of a focus on taking care of the people better, working more on the culture, making sure that the work environment is more engaging and more open. And I don't know if fun is the right word in those terms, but it certainly, there's been more of a focus over the last few years on that element.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think it's also a question about this next generation. Yeah. So I can just tell you again from my personal experience, I was always in my life just focusing on career, business, results, everything necessary. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have fun at the same time, and fun, I'm not talking about the stupid side of fun. Yeah. Yeah. Then you cannot really enjoy, and you also cannot enjoy success, for instance. Yeah. So if you make a deal, what is the issue to stand together, to call your guys and to have a toast? Why not? Yeah. Yeah. Not every deal is business as usual,
Yeah. No, it's true. And I think there's some lessons within that we can pull forward and seem very relevant to me as I reflect on as we're coming into this new phase of the industry's growth and development or maturity, yeah, whatever you wish to call it, that are really applicable. And for me, that was one of the ones that stood out. And so it was certainly a fun read, and it was good to kind of reflect that on the industry that we operate in. So
thank you very much for the compliment.
Absolutely. Well, Klaus, before I let you go, any closing comments you'd like to make? Any message, something I didn't ask you about that you feel that you would like to make sure to share with our audience? Or
I've been talking now quite a lot about SGA. I just wanted to say once again, thank you, Eric, and also thank Dieter for your visit on one hand side, but on the other side, for both of your contribution to the industry. Yeah. because with all this know-how and experience that you get, and you then distribute to all of us, and I'm reading everything that I receive because I'm still in this, upper learning curve. Yeah. It helps me quite a lot, and so thank you very, very much for that.
Oh, no, you're very welcome. You're very kind with your words there. Thank you. But I would encourage anybody watching this who wishes to know more about SG Automotive, look them up. You can check our website for a profile of SG Automotive that should be going live soon. And then you could certainly find Klauss on LinkedIn, and would encourage anybody who's interested in reaching out, please do so. Hopefully, as you get a sense, he is a very gracious and charming gentleman. And go visit him in Slovenia. He's a good host too. So
yes. You're very welcome.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, by the way, Klauss, I realized that the book you gave me, I didn't get you to autograph, so I must bring it back and have you sign it. So
that's exactly the point. So you have to come again.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, Klauss, I wish you nothing but success for the rest of this year. Let's definitely stay in touch and look forward to following the story as it evolves.
Okay, thank you so much. It was really great talking to you, Eric.
Very good, Klauss. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.